Hello everybody, this is Mac, bringing you yet another game with iCCupTV during the beta downtime. This is from WhiteRa's replay pack. It is between WhiteRa himself, the red Protoss, and his opponent, SLush, the blue Zerg. The map is Scrap Station, which is a really good map for this particular matchup, so we should have a good game between two very high caliber players. Now the reason I say this is an interesting map for this particular matchup has a lot to do with the playstyles in each race. The Zerg, especially on a map like this, which is fairly long, is a huge fan of the fast expansion, and it's very, very hard to stop as Protoss, just because early game Zealots have a hard time with Zerglings, especially when Zerglings are spawning out of new hatcheries constantly. But unlike other matches, you can actually position yourself in between both bases very well. Typically, you know, the ramp would be here, and you'd have to come through the expansion to get to the main, but this one is sort of a divergence, so this can work for or against either side so interestingly, just because you can get flanked by reinforcing Zerglings, or you can, you know, trap one side off from the other. So very, very interesting dynamic. We'll have to wait and see what ends up happening, whether this is a short game with timing attacks or a long game with lots of expansions. So far we do have the gateway and pylon in forward positions, the probe from the gateway going to scout his opponent. Meanwhile, the Zerg player SLush has laid down what looks to have been a 15 pool, and I suspect we will be seeing a hatchery fairly soon. Probably a 15 pool 15 hatch or a 16 hatch. Like I said, given the long distance to the other base via ground, it's very, very easy to hold off on that hatchery. So here goes the drone at 200 minerals. By the time he gets there, however, this probe might be there to block it. And I am completely wrong. No, I'm not. That is a sneaky drone. Obviously knew that probe was there. He hides in the gas, and around he comes, and he's going to get that expansion down without any probe trying to stand on top of it. So this probe does scout, sees the spawning pool, and he's going to go there. He never saw that drone, and this is going to shock him. Oh no, the hatchery is out. Now notice that he did run away immediately. He doesn't want his opponent to know that he knows. One of the fun little mind games of this early game. And this Overlord, meanwhile, has floated over, sees a cyber core and a gateway, so no proxy, no heavy zealot rush, nothing to worry about. And that is the right response from WhiteRa. Given that it's so hard without a proxy to reinforce fast enough, Zealots very strong against Zerglings, but they just can't handle the rate at which they respawn, and they can get surrounds far too easily. And we see here this probe finally going to be chased away by Zerglings. He's going to get clawed to death in a few seconds, and we'll just skip that since this is PG-13. Meanwhile, WhiteRa continuing to macro very nicely. He does have a very, very heavy probe lead. That is the advantage of not fast expanding. However, the Zerg will snowball and overtake him. So the dynamic in this matchup is that at this point in time, WhiteRa must either expand to keep pace with his opponent, or prepare some kind of attack to punish his opponent for the fast expansion. It looks like he's not opting for a 4-gate with a proxy. He is instead laying down a Stargate, so my guess is we're going to see either Void Rays or Phoenix, quite possibly both. That would be pretty cool to see. So we'll have to wait and see what happens once the Stargate is up. Meanwhile, the hatchery has finally popped up. We have a queen on each, and looking at the production tab, it is exclusively drones, so typical from a Zerg player. All he needs to do is get his economy up and running so that he can just snowball and just completely roll over his opponent. He does have fairly good advanced scouting. This Overlord capable of advancing to see what is being built, but my guess is he never saw this Stargate. So SLush really needs to get a little more of an updated scouting information. And a quick Stalker, which is an interesting choice from WhiteRa. Able to run away from slow Zerglings, not Speedlings, but probably just a bit of a scout. And SLush, his advanced scouting, not so hot actually. He does have this, but one Zergling on this it sounds like a watchtower would be pretty sensible right now. Here they come. They are going to try and take that and force the Stalker away. Stalker runs away, so the Zerglings aren't able to catch it. And it turns out they actually are going to go, not harass, but camp out in front of their opponent's base. That's the early warning I was looking for. And finally going to happen. The Stalker recognizes this, turns and fights, and then just perfect timing there, so the Zerglings get ambushed inside these vents. Very, very nice play by WhiteRa, able to kill 2 Zerglings, which this early game is better than you can ask for. And the first Void Ray is out. Kills that first Overlord, and looks like SLush doesn't have much to deal with that right now. He does have that early Spine Crawler for the ground assault, but there isn't one coming. It's all in the air. Lots of Queens, however, and Queens are the right recipe. Man, I'm having trouble with my W's and R's because of WhiteRa's name, and the Queens are going to show off this Void Ray. So most likely going to need a few more Void Rays to reach a critical mass before he's able to take on those queens and get that charge up before they all die. But killing Overlords is a good thing to do. 2 of these now in play. And there's that proxy pylon, a few zealots, and a stalker, and a 4th gateway coming down, so WhiteRa is going to go with a 4-gate timing attack with Void Ray support. That is a great combination. I expect that SLush not going to be prepared for this. You'll see gearing up, Spore Crawler going down there, Spine Crawler, Spore Crawler, so lots of defenses, but not prepared for a ground attack. Look at that army. Look at his units, first of all. Only 10 Zerglings, but he has made the transition into Hydralisks. Good counter for those Void Rays, but not so good because of the ground force coming in. It is really this ground force that's threatening. He does not know about that yet. Void Rays have taken map control. The Zerg player has no idea that this is coming. And he is throwing down good defense. He does have his Spine Crawlers, but just a few Zerglings and Hydralisks. Is he producing more? Just Hydralisks for now. And there it is. The back door is open, and in they come. With some force field support. There they go, trapping a few Zerglings out. So the Zerglings are cut to pieces, and these Void Rays are the real threat here, and they're not getting shot at all by this Hydralisk. They are now in full charge. The Hydralisk going down fast, and finally able to target, but it's just too late. 3rd Void Ray in, the 1st Queen is down, the 2nd Void Ray about to go down. 2 Void Rays gets a Queen, and 2 Hydralisks, but it looks like the lone Void Ray here is not going to quite be enough. But here comes some reinforcing cells from that 4-gate push. They're now focusing down the Spine Crawlers. It goes down. It'll take too long for the 2nd one to get in. They're going to be able to do some serious damage to it. A new Spore Crawler coming down to prevent the Void Rays from supporting any further. The Zealots are going to not quite get the Spine Crawler. Nice use of rejuvenation from this Queen. And you are able to see that Spine Crawler go down. More Zealots and Hydralisks streaming out of the Zerg reinforcements. There's that powerful reinforcement effect, having 2 hatcheries so close in the front. But this proxy pylon, a 2nd one being advanced further forward. We still have Void Rays coming. No, it is pure ground from the Protoss player, and looks like this assault might be driven back. 2 Queens, 3 Hydralisks, but they are all very wounded, trying to micro them away while the reinforcements get here. There's the Zerglings able to kill off 2 of the Stalkers, and Stalkers are driven back. More Zealots coming to the front, being warped in. How many gateways do we have there? Still 4, but it sure feels like more than that for the Zerg player. And now has enough Zerglings with those Hydralisks that he is able to drive off the Protoss advance temporarily, and no more Void Rays coming from WhiteRa. He is starved for gas because he's relying on this ground force. That's the right call, though. The Void Ray surprise is over. Sure, maybe he could come in and harass here, but we have Spore Crawlers everywhere, and they have 400 hit points compared to the considerable less. I think it's 250 for Spine Crawlers, 300 for Spine Crawlers. And I guess he's just massing a ground force at this point in time. Income-wise, however, the Zerg player very far behind because he's been unable to saturate. All this pressure has prevented SLush from building any more drones, and he is forced to build units, so that expansion is just a production facility like a gateway. He's